Good morning. Friday morning, 31st of July, and Talking Cafe has now gone live. My name is Wendy Rudd, as many of you already know. Today, I'm going to be joined by a guest, Jenn Hodge, and we're going to be looking at activities for young people. And the opposite to last week, this week, I'm going to start with a sock puppet. Now, to help me with the sock puppet, I have my two grandchildren, Rosie and Charlie. Now, I get the easy job because I'm going to make a very simple sock puppet, in that if the dads were lucky enough to be given a pair of Grinch socks, or you have alternative socks with faces on, you literally slip your hand in, make the mouth, and hey presto, we have the puppet. Now, Charlie is going to show you his puppet that he made, or he's going to make for you.
So what you do is you get two eyes and stick them on, one there and one there, and there you have your puppet.
And Rosie?
I'm going to draw on my eyes just where my knuckles are. So I've done my eyes, and now I'm going to use the red pen to draw my lips. So I've done my puppet.
And then we can have a puppet show. Thank you very much, Rosie. Thank you very much, Charlie. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
So that was our little very short puppet display, which proves a felt tip pen, some googly eyes and a sock, and you'll be amazed at how long the children will play for, and the imagination that comes out is phenomenal. I'm now going to introduce you to my guest today, who is Jenn. And Jenn is Rama Life. So hello, Jenn. Lovely for you to accompany me today. It's over to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Wendy. So you're joining me today at Frogmery Green Farm in South Petherton, and we're very lucky to be spending our summer here. It's a glorious sunny day, and at the moment the young people who are at our session are in the woods doing a sensory trail. So they've had some string set out amongst the trees, and they've got, some of them are going to have blindfolds on, and they'll be leading their way through the sensory trail, which is fantastic and lovely to be in the shade on this hot day. So I'm just going to talk to you today a little bit about who Rama Life are, what we do, and then a little bit about kind of general activities with children and mental health with young people. So we are a community interest company. So we don't have shareholders. We don't aim to make a profit. We aim to run fantastic sessions for young people in lots of different kind of areas. So we work in four main areas. So our first is called Explore, which is our kind of summer holiday provision. So at the moment we've got children aged 5 to 13. We've been running all week, and we're going to be running all of August. We offer a whole range of activities, but we make sure we have small group sizes and high levels of really fantastic, well-trained staff. This week so far, we have been playing around with water. We have been teaching how to light fires safely. We have cooking on fires. We've been doing stuff down in the woods. We've been doing nature activities. Yesterday, we did some fantastic junk modelling. And the weeks ahead, we've got some wizarding themed days. lots of adventure activities and craft and Lego building. So all sorts of fantastic stuff going on. So we run in South Petherton, and you can kind of book onto those sessions. We've still got some spaces. But stepping back to kind of think about stuff to do at home for a moment, all of these activities are things that you can do at home as well. And just like Wendy was saying with the sock puppet, with boxes, recycling, as long as it's safe and clean, you can make all sorts of things. And yesterday, the children here spent a long time kind of creating robot costumes, playhouses, all sorts. So that's something you can do at home. You can do it out in the garden, very basically no cost. So the other things we also run something called Gather, which is discussion groups. Now this is a bit different. Often we think about discussion groups to do with business and something serious, whereas we do it all about the kind of topics that perhaps are tricky to talk about sometimes, and lots to do with changes. So kind of growing up, going through puberty, having to deal with loss or bereavement, getting older, menopause, all sorts of things. So we run from the discussion groups start around age 8, and they run all the way up through. So we have a wide range of ages and sessions and topics. But coming back to our youth work, we also kind of had discussion groups around bullying, building self-confidence. And these discussion groups started a couple of months ago, and they've been fantastic. We've had some fantastic feedback, because it's not a lesson. We're not sitting there and telling them everything. We're pointing them in the right direction, opening up the floor for conversation, and then allowing a group of children, peers, often sometimes friends, sometimes not, to share their thoughts and ideas. And then us as kind of trained and experienced facilitators in those sessions, able to kind of guide the session and give positive information and positive feedback. So it just works really well. It's really cool. We also have something called Venture, which is for older children, where we are going to be having sessions from teenagers. And these are going to involve all sorts of I've got a friendly wasp there, all sorts of skill-based sessions. So we'll take those kind of adventurous skills we do at Explore and take it a bit further, forging kind of independence, confidence building, which are all fantastic skills. We are hopefully going to be running a business enterprise initiative. So we will be giving a small pot of money, and young people are then going to have the opportunity to kind of come up with their own business ideas and set that in progress and see what happens. And going out and doing some practical hands-on skills as well. Our final thing that our business does, which hasn't launched yet, is called Engage, and it's aimed at adults. So this is all about tapping into all the fantastic resources we have as a community, particularly people who are potentially retired and have got a lifetime of skills, and bringing them into a setting where they can then pass those skills on. So if you've ever wanted to kind of know how to make a Christmas cake properly, or do some woodwork or mechanics, we try and bring in people from the community and them to share those skills with other adults. So we've got a whole range there. So if you can kind of check out our website and see what we get up to. Our Explore sessions, we've been very lucky to get some funding from the Parish Council here in South Petherton. So in the next 6 months, we're going to be offering agricultural days. So we're going to be taking young people out to visit different farms and see what farming is really all about. Everything from the tractors that've got the amazing kind of computerized technology in them, to the crops and crop rotations and how it all works and how it all comes together. So that's going to be a great one for raising awareness and seeing what a fantastic kind of career farming can be. So stepping back a bit and just thinking about the last few months, it's obviously been really, really tricky times. We've all suffered, we've all struggled. Adults, it's funny, I think quite often people ask me and kind of say, well, how much of an effect do you think this is going to have on young people? And I don't think we're going to really know for a while what effect it will have, because often children are actually a lot more resilient than we think. And it's often us adults who are used to things being a set way and happening in a set way. And we're the ones that get a bit upset when routines are changed. But equally, obviously, if you've got a child who's generally a bit anxious anyway, or likes routine anyway, this is going to have been a really trying time. it amazed me. And I was thinking about it. A couple of months ago, I was visiting a museum at Tiverton, and I was chatting to a lady there, and she kind of remembers times kind of back when she was younger, when I think she was maybe 5 or 6, kind of at times where there was towards the end of the Second World War, and she remembers it being fun. It was exciting, all the things that were going on, and having to rush off and go into the shelters, and she remembers it as a fun time when her and her friends kind of got to do different things, which is amazing, because I'd have thought that would have been really traumatic, and clearly there was a lot of trauma, but there was interestingly a different side. So whether we will get a few years down the line and find that there are, yes, definitely things that young people have been upset about, but also there'll probably be a remembering of the time that they got to spend 3 months with no school, or time spent practicing their trampolining or their cartwheels in the garden, or when they got really good at Minecraft. So we're not going to really know for a while the impact. Clearly, any change, any massive change to life, which I think, maybe the biggest things here are wearing masks, not being able to be close to people. They're the things I think that are going to have the deepest impact. I know that some children, I know people talk to me now and say their children are struggling with, not being at school or out of routine, but the actual long-lasting impact is more likely going to be those human contact things that we're all so used to, and we need that kind of the human touch, communication, which is also visual a lot of the time, and that people are covering their faces. So these are the things I think we need to be working on as far as children's mental health go. And as far as, in my opinion, the best way to do that is conversation. Any traumatic experience that's going on in your family or the wider world, be it separation, divorce, loss, moving house, any of these things, conversation just cuts right through it, and it resolves and clears so many things, giving a child a chance to understand. I think as adults, quite often we do that thing where we try and shelter young people, and we try and hide anything that might feel a bit scary or bad or negative. But in fact, they know what's going on. They can sense it. They obviously, with coronavirus, they're very aware of it. So it's conversation, and trying not to make it too alien, too strange and unknown, and kind of bring the conversation to the dinner table, and allow them to give their opinions. It's absolutely fine if they think masks are silly. It's absolutely fine if they think everyone should wear masks. It doesn't. Their opinion matters, whether it agrees with your family opinion or whether it doesn't. Just letting them share that opinion and being validated makes all the difference. It's really important as people that we're heard. So for young people, that's really a key thing. So if you've got troubles at home, if you've got children who are feeling really anxious, then lots of positive conversation. And it's not about, it's I guess trying to get the balance. So you don't have to pretend it's not happening. It's not a case of saying, well, nothing's going on and washing over it. It's okay, well, let's talk about it. Situation has arose, the government's made a decision on how to deal with it. We're having to do these things at the moment, and let them talk about it, let them talk it through, hear what they've got to say, because you might be quite surprised as to the things they come up with, and the questions they have, and the thoughts they have. And quite often when we have these conversations with young people on tricky subjects, you might not hear anything for a few weeks, and then you might suddenly be on a long trip somewhere in the car, and somebody pipes up from the back and says, oh, we were talking about that the other day. And that gives them, they've been processing it and thinking about it, and then they can kind of restart that conversation again with questions. So definitely the key thing with all of this is please allow the conversation, encourage the conversation. Don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid to talk about things that are tricky. The same goes for loss. The children experience loss. They experience, typically kind of great-grandparents, grandparents, old people in their life, sometimes younger people, but people do die. It happens. Allow them to talk about it. Don't feel that ignoring it is going to save them from anything, because it's that conversation, allowing them to have positive memories, positive talk about it. It helps them so much. So that's the kind of main thing I'd say, my words on kind of young people with coronavirus situation. And I've talked a little bit about what we do as a business. So I suppose maybe just before I finish, just talking a little bit about what you can do with young people this summer. There's going to be lots of people that have had children at home for months and months, and you've probably really exhausted a lot of home-based activities because everyone was stuck at home. So thinking about more out and about kind of things you can do, particularly low cost, which, you know, is definitely a bonus. So like I said earlier with the sensory trail, that's a really cool thing you can set up. You can set up that kind of thing in your garden as well, with a string that they can follow, obviously keeping an eye on them to make sure they don't trip over. You can do kind of indoor mazes or out in the garden, pop some chairs out and blindfold and give them directions of left or right, or clapping to the side so they've got to move in each direction. And as long as you're keeping an eye and you're there to make sure they don't get hurt, that can be really good fun. And you can also bring in there a conversation about kind of disabilities and how it must be to live without one of your senses, or maybe to do certain activities only with one hand, or all sorts of things. So you can do lots of quite fun stuff around that. The junk modelling, definitely, that's a really good one. If they're a bit stuck on ideas, you can bring in some cool stuff for geography here. So today we are going to do a geography treasure hunt. So I've got some fantastic colour pictures of some really cool buildings from around the world, and I've laminated them, and they're going to be kind of dotted all around our safe kind of enclosure here. And then they've got a list of buildings, and they're going to have to go and see if they can match them and figure out what's where. And then we're going to have a look at the map and see if we can figure out where things are. And then afterwards, they can have a go at making it. So they can use some junk modelling, some Lego, paper and pens, and have a go at copying that design, or maybe coming up with their own design. So that's another really easy thing to do, which is free and great fun. In this weather, playing with water sounds so silly, so simple, but again, a lot of fun to be had there. You can set up an obstacle course in the garden, and they've got to try and get a cup of water to the end and see if they can get it there and see how much they've got left, and you can measure it, and they could do best of 3 and see if they can do their last one and see if they can have the most water left. That's always great. Playing, if you're a keen crocheter, so you might have some family members that are still maybe not going out so much who are into crochet. If you get some nice absorbent wool and you can crochet some balls, fantastic for getting them wet, soaking in a bucket of water and playing games, throwing with them. It's kind of almost like a version of water balloons, but a little bit more environmentally friendly and reusable. So that's another really good one. Simple things like chalk. I will show you now. The young people have had chalk this morning, and they have decorated our playground area. So we've got hopscotch on the go, and they've done a fantastic Rama life all along the back there. So again, you can go down to your local post office or newsagent, a packet of chalk, £1, and again, lots of fun to be had with that. Side of buildings as well, chalk washes off so they can decorate the side of the house. Water painting is another great one for particularly littler ones. So you can get some old paintbrushes, as long as they're clean, a bucket of water, and they can go about painting the house with water. Great to do on a day like this because it dries really quickly. But particularly kind of 2 to 5, 6-year-olds will love that, love being given free rein to kind of start painting the garden. So that's some kind of things you can do around the garden and out and about. Staying active is really important for mental health at this time as well. So getting out, going for some nice walks. We've got some beautiful scenery out in Somerset, some great areas. So going for some nice walks. You can make them a bit more fun by letting the children choose the way. So if you're going somewhere like maybe Ham Hill, which is not far from here, you can set off and they can choose. So they take a left or a right path, giving them a bit of control back. So remembering that for the last few months, they've not really had many choices and many options. So it's quite fun to give them an opportunity to make some decisions for themselves and giving them a bit of choice. Taking a picnic is always great on those lovely days, wet weather days, fort building. I left my home this morning to a fort being constructed out of sofa cushions. Always a good one. Getting some chairs and blankets, that's another great one for fun. So there's lots and lots of things that you can kind of do at home. If you have got some pennies set aside for youth activities, obviously we're running now until the end of August. We accept childcare vouchers, which often helps. And we're based, as I said, in South Petherton, so you can get in touch and book in with us. There's also lots of other organisations that are starting to now launch their summer activities. Obviously, a lot of people waiting for government guidelines. So there's forest schools about. I think some of the sports centres might be running activities. And I think if Wendy's going to give some information at the end of this session all about what you can do in the local area. Getting a bit further afield, obviously beach is a cracker. Now, if you're going to the beach, I would definitely suggest seeing if that you can take a couple of pebbles. I don't know if you're allowed to do this, I'll probably get in trouble for saying it, but a couple of pebbles home and then doing some pebble painting is a brilliant one. That's always good for some fun. So that's another great activity to do. Craft wise, I know that we saw the sock puppets earlier, and we talked about the model building. It's good to do a bit of cooking. So this morning, our lot's just come back from the sensory trail a little while ago, and they're having a break now, but they're going to be making some pizzas. Pizzas are really simple to make. You can do a really basic pizza dough, bread dough, just really, really simple. And you can do them in all sorts of different shapes, have some fun with it. A bit of tomato puree on it, some cheese, and get lots of different ingredients for them to try. Sometimes cooking, if you're not a big cooker, it can feel like quite scary prospects to start doing it, but it's actually really easy and just great fun. Anything where young people can kind of decorate, I think is always good. So if you're going to bake cupcakes, if you can get some bits in for them to decorate them. We a few days ago we did biscuits, so they can do a big. I went onto Google and found a really simple biscuit recipe. Literally just had butter, sugar, flour. Really, really simple. Get them baked in the ovens, and then you can get some icing sugar on them, and they can come up with the most amazing creations. We had football biscuits, we had unicorn biscuits, we had all sorts. And one fun thing you can do is to get young people to kind of draw it on paper first. So that can be another activity to use up a bit of time. If they get paper out and have a go at doing a design, and then they can try and copy that design onto biscuits. So that's another great one to do. So you've got pizza, biscuits. I think cheese twists are quite fun as well. There's lots of really simple stuff you can do with cooking. It's fun. Or, another good one is fruit salad. Again, it sounds really simple, but if you're desperate for something to do, a load of fruit, get the knives, chopping boards out. Obviously, be careful with making sure your child's fine with knives and get the right kind of level for them. But with a bit of supervision, even a really young child can handle chopping up fruit. It's nice and soft, as long as they're properly supervised. And that can be a great one for them to do, and super healthy as well. Right, I can see that Wendy is back here, so it will be my time to say goodbye. So thank you so much for listening today, and I hope you all have a fantastic summer.
Thank you very much, Jen. That was amazing. You covered so much there. As I say, thank you very much. And what we will do is we will put up Jen's details onto the chat line so that anybody wanting to make contact can.
Thank you, Wendy.
Thank you. Bye-bye, Jen. Right, now, as Jen said, I am going to make life a little bit simpler by giving you some web addresses for you to go on and have a look. I'm going to start, however, with the free play boxes. Somerset, South Somerset District Council have free play boxes. This year, to ensure the safety of children, adults and their teams, they have had to cancel the usual play days, youth days and school out of summer activities due to the COVID-19. However, it's not all lost. They're still providing the families with play alternatives this summer with Playbox. And Playbox is a free activity box, including arts and crafts, baking and outdoor play ideas. Sorry, did the same last week. Let me just very quickly, sorry about that, very quickly turn off my alarm. Right, the Playbox. It's going to be given out at collection points across South Somerset on the following dates between 11 AM and 2 PM. The 4th of August is going to be at Kingsbury Episcopi Recreation Ground. On the 5th of August, Cale Park at Wincanton. The 6th of August, they will be at Jocelyn Park in Chard. And on the 7th, Yeovil Recreation Ground, Mudford Road in Yeovil. To receive a box, you need to visit one of the collection points. They do have limited stock and we'll be giving the boxes out on a first come, first served basis. One box will be given to each child aged between 5 and 11 years old. All children must be accompanied by an adult. There will be different play boxes to choose from, covering a different range of activities. There will be a booklet listing the activities featured in each box to help you make your decision before reaching the collection point. We ask that you're respectful of others and adhere to the social distancing guidelines when collecting your play box. There will be a one-way system in place, so please follow the signs at the collection locations. We advise you to bring hand sanitizer, but they will have some at the collection points. So on to other things that are available and around. And a good one is Nine Springs in Yeovil. It's a big country park with woods and a cafe, play park and wildlife. And the reason it's called Nine Springs is because there are 9 springs. So why not try and find them all? Remember, when you go hunting, to take your camera, capture the wildlife that you see, and maybe even take a picnic. We're now back to the addresses and things that are happening and places to go and have a look. Brahma Life is at Frogmary Green Farm in South Petherton. The address is ramalife.co.uk/explore 2020. Now, to book, get in touch as soon as possible. And the email address is bookings@ramalife.co.uk, or you can message them through the Facebook. Then we have Pick Your Own Fruit. Call before you visit to check the opening times, and that's at Ford Abbey Fruit Farm. Signs are posted on local roads, and the telephone number you need is 01460 30460. Now, don't worry if you don't catch any of this, because what we will do is we will make sure that, as I say, all of this can be found. Just do us a little message, and if you check back early next week, we will have all these addresses up for you, okay? We have the maze at the Toy Barn in Sherborne. And if you go to the facebook.com and events, will be up there. We have Funland Theme Park in Weston-super-Mare. That's £8.99 ride all day tickets available for that one. 40 fun things to do with kids, full stop, whether it's during lockdown or not, is actually on walesonline.co.uk. And another site that I found, which I thought was quite good, and I love the name, is Kidadl, KIDADL.com, and they are free indoor activities for kids to do. 42 activities, and on this site you actually can select the categories you're looking for. So if you decided you wanted outdoor play, you'd go to the category. Somerset.co.uk, what's on families and kids. You can actually find 11 amazing playgrounds for children in Somerset. They're well worth the journey. We have Let's Go With Children.co.uk, top pick summer attractions reopenings. Now this one not only tells you the reopening, but if you type in your town, it gives you what is local to you. And I think that about covers, and as I say, everything we've got will be popped up for your ease and convenience. And to end as usual, I have written a poem, and it's called Summer Days. Now that the summer holes are here, whoopee, we hear the children cheer. When it's bright with lots of sun, you can go out and have some fun. There are activities for you, so check them out. There's so much to do. On quiet and rainy days, and it's indoors we have to stay, maybe try some craft or some art. This may be where you wish to start. Watch YouTube and see how it's done. Check online and find local fun. Watch a lesson streaming on the net, and maybe even better yet, make a puppet from a sock. Now that really would rock. So that poem brings me to a close as usual. As again, we will be back on Monday, 11 a.m. We're always here trying to get the information out there to you. Thank you very much, and I will no doubt see you next week. Bye-bye.